Hi there, and welcome to another thrilling adventure of Offhand. I'm Herb Larson, and this guy is my trusty companion, Bill Pugin. Bill's going to be serving as my voice and will be interpreting for the guests. We are standing here in Virginia City, Nevada, the world's largest living monument in the United States, and we're standing right near Piper's Opera House, which is a famous landmark that was built in 1885. And in a few minutes, we're going to be going inside and we're going to meet with the award-winning performer, Lacey J. Dalton. Lacey is going to share with us her second passion, other than music, which is saving the wild horses of Nevada. Also on today's show, we're going to be traveling to Carson City, the capital of Nevada. And there we're going to meet with the governor of the state. And we have a lot more exciting adventures along the way, so stay where you are, and we'll be right back. Hello everybody, we're here with Lacey J. Dalton, famous performer right here in Piper's Opera House. Welcome, Lacey. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us, and thank you for being here with us on Offhand.
Thank you, Herb. I'm so happy to be here.
The people all over have heard about you and your music, and you're well known in that industry. But a lot of people may not be aware that you have a special passion other than music, which is saving the wild horses of Nevada. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
I can, Herb. When I first moved here, I realized that these wild horses that I loved and were the reason that I moved to Nevada were in terrible trouble. They were getting hit on the highways, they were being shot and tortured to death, and they needed some help, and they needed their own place. So that's been my goal and my project ever since.
Wow, that's a real passion of yours, obviously. And I understand that there may be another side to this story. Is that true?
Oh, there are. It is a very controversial issue, and that's why we believe that the horses need their own place, just like the grizzly bears in Yellowstone, or the elk, or the wolves, or the bison in South Dakota. These wild horses need their own place, and that's what we're doing.
And we know that you've written a lot of music, but we're wondering, have you ever written music about the wild horses themselves?
Herb, we've written a lot of music about the wild horses, and some of my favorite songs that I perform today are about wild horses, and we've even created a whole new CD called Wild Horse Crossing to support our wild horse projects here in Nevada.
Up in Story County, where the wild ponies run, gold was mine that fueled the Civil War. There's a fierce but friendly people, and if you ask them to A1, they'll tell you there's still a lot of things worth fighting for. Up in Story County, the Mustang still runs free. The eagle soars above the pinyon pines, and we know these horses stand for something that is precious and more rare than all the silver and the gold from them old mines. So let them run, let them run, let them wild ponies run. Don't you brand them, don't you break them, don't you let the There's still a few proud places left where they let the wild things run. Let them run. Up in Story County, in the high Nevada hills, freedom rides the wayward western wind, and the Mustang is a symbol with its wild and fiery will of the way the West will never be again. So let them run. Let them wild ponies run. Don't you brand them, don't you break them. Don't you let the killers take a single one. Let them run. Let them wild ponies run. Don't you brand them, don't you break them. Don't you let the killers take a single one. Let them run.
And I also understand that you have another passion, maybe? You had set up a museum. The museum is here in Virginia City. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Herb, our museum for wild horses and our wild horse gift store is right across from the post office, right in the middle of Virginia City, in this wonderful old train car from the V&T Railroad. Our commissioners have allowed us to go in there and set up the museum and our wonderful gift shop. And we are able to share a lot of knowledge with the public about the wild horses through that project.
You know, I have so enjoyed these stories, and so many questions come to mind now. It's always good hearing things straight from the horse's mouth. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Herb, I think definitely we are going to go and take a look around this unique town that has stayed as is for all of these years. Yeah, we definitely want to go visit this beautiful city. The first time that we've ever been here. And it's obviously a living monument. It's just really wonderful. And people would enjoy coming here, not just to see the town, but coming to see your museum and this beautiful theater. It's really impressive. That's what we're going to do right after we're done here. We're going to saddle them up and move on out. It just feels right here. So, Lacey, again, thank you very much for coming on Offhand. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Herb, and thanks for coming to our towns.
And we know these horses stand for something that is precious and more rare than all the silver and the gold from them old mines. So let them run. Let them run. Let them wild ponies run. Don't you brand them, don't you break them. Don't you let the killers take a single one. Let them run. In a world where fences scar the earth from sun to rising sun, there's still a few proud places left where they let the wild things run. Let them run. Up in Story County, in the high Nevada hills, freedom rides the wayward.
We are here in the Golden Phoenix Hotel in Reno, and we're in the showroom. And we have a very special guest with us today, Calamity Jan. And that name is very well known by young readers of her books all over the country. Her real name is Jan Pearson. Hi, Jan. Glad you could come with us today. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Herb. Thank you. It's really, really nice to be here.
Now, I know that many young readers read your book, and the stories seem to revolve around two young people who are visiting ghost towns. I was just curious how you found your research. I mean, how did you research to get the information for these stories?
Well, Herb, I go into ghost towns because I love to just visit with my children. We grew up camping near ghost towns all over the western United States. And although I was writing books at the time, I was not writing books on ghost towns. I was just raising kids and doing all the other things. But in my mind, one day when my son found a skull in a shack in Nighthawk, Washington, I knew that someday I would have a story.
Wow, that's wonderful. I understand that you have written 9 books already. That is very impressive. Wow. And the most recent book, the newest one, is entitled The Haunted Horse of Gold Hill. That's a fascinating title. Can you tell us a little bit about what the book is about?
I'd like to. Yes, it's set in Gold Hill, right next to Virginia City, right here in wonderful Nevada, which I'm enjoying and visiting right now. And this revolves around the wild Mustangs that when I drove into Gold Hill, I saw them on the bluff racing, and my heart was racing because I knew there was another story to tell. But I began to spin and weave the plot as many writers do in our minds, but I knew my story needed heart. And so I began to ask people around Virginia City and Gold Hill, is there something about this area? Is there some place? Is there some event that's significant? Because my story still needs its heart. And up at a bookstore, the proprietor said to me, well, have you been to visit the grave of the 2 boys who went out in the blizzard in 1871 to find their missing horse?